talking now. It's all good.
It's all good. So it's a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for calling me. I understand we got 20 minutes, so I'm going to watch the clock real close.
I've got about 15 at this point.
Okay, 15. All right. Yeah, actually, we did, because 2:07. Okay, so where are you calling me from today, Wolf?
Nashville, Tennessee, my home.
So you live in Nashville. You don't no longer. Do you have a home in Germany?
No longer, no. Actually, since I've lived in the U.S. for over 20 years, and in Nashville for over 3 years in Nashville. I've lived in Germany permanently for a while.
Okay, I should have caught that in the biography I read from Martin Popoff. Are you familiar with that book?
I am. I haven't read it all the way through, but I know Martin quite good, and over the years, yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. So, how many interviews have you had today?
Well, I still have 8 more to go.
Whoa!
That tells you something.
Yeah, and in your life, you've probably done thousands.
I probably have, actually. I like doing them, especially when the questions are a little interesting and stuff.
Well,
I don't like to do too many per day. Sometimes you end up saying the same thing again and again.
Yeah.
I catch myself doing that sometimes, you know.
Well, I've tried to put together a set of questions that's going to be different, maybe give you a little bit of a break, but maybe not necessarily. I do have a couple of traditional interview questions. I will start by saying the gushing part. You know, I love Accept. I love the live DVD. And I love the way that it takes the last 3 albums with the rest of the catalog and makes it seamless throughout the concert.
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one thing. Then the other question is there anything you would change about the live album if you could?
No, man. This represents what Accept stands for and what we do nowadays. This is what we've been doing the last, 8 years. So it's kind of a resume DVD in a way.
Yeah.
We have been doing sets through all the shows that we've been doing, where it's about 50% new material and 50% old stuff. You know, because obviously there's a bunch of fans that are not that familiar with the new stuff, but at the same time, there's more and more people who are. So you kind of want to please everybody, and that's what we're trying to do.
Sure, I think it's a fantastic record. And I mean, the DVD. I watched the DVD twice now. And we did a review on it at the Gauntlet, so if you want to read that, it's a pretty good review. So you're professional.
You also check out at some point the live CDs, because they're not like a lot of times where it's the same exact material, only without the picture. But instead it's like totally different performances and a whole bunch of other songs that were not even part of the whole DVD. So it's a totally different animal once you get into the live.
Yeah.
As well, so check that out.
I've got it on pre-order, I think, but I've seen the list of songs. The last live record I had from Accept was, I'm gonna pronounce this right, was it like a Kaisako Bon or something like that?
Yeah, well, that's ages ago. That was the official live, live recording back then. Kaizuko Ban, I think it means official bootleg or something in Japanese. I don't even to this day, I don't even know what an official bootleg is, to be honest.
An official, yeah.
It's an official release or it's a bootleg, but somehow, to some people, that seems to make sense.
Okay. Wolf, you're a professional photographer.
Yeah.
Do you have any other non-musical pastimes that you enjoy in addition to being a photographer?
Well, I sometimes enjoy doing a little bit of sports. I recently got a road bike and doing that sort of thing. So sports is a little bit of a pastime thing. And sometimes, if I have the time, I like to do sort of carpentry around the house. And all my life, I've been sort of a handyman, doer kind of guy, building shit, remodeling stuff. Always working on something, but lately, ever since Accept got back together, pretty much everything else is taking a back seat on that front.
Sure, understand. So you speak German and very fluent English. Do you speak any other languages?
To petit peu de français, but very, very little at this point, because I haven't used it at all. I mean, I learned it in school, and I was somewhat fluent at some point, but man, I never used it. So French is
Okay.
very, very, very pitiful. And I also used to be pretty good in Latin because that's what I also learned in school, but nobody really speaks that. But I've also forgotten all of it.
Yeah, I took
The one language that I learned the least is English in school. You know, I picked it up when we started to travel and when we started to live in the U.S. and whatnot, just speaking it. But, you know. So
yeah, I took Latin too, and I can't speak it or write it, but it has sure helped me with understanding things I don't know the answer to because of all the roots and stuff.
Yeah, and a few sayings here and there, and you know kind of what it's supposed to mean. But Latin is such a waste of time in a weird way.
Yeah.
To this day, when I see like an inscription on a public building or something, you know, one of those sayings, da 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 da, I still can't make sense of it half the time.
Yeah. Sometimes you can piece it together. Other times I'll go back and put it in Google Translate. All right.
Exactly.
So, what is your biggest pet peeve?
In what way? I mean,
What annoys you that somebody does, or some phenomenon that bothers you?
Where do you want to start? I mean, there's so many things. Just ask people around me. I always find something that annoys me. Little things sometimes. Well, maybe one of the most current things is that whole election cycle. I think it's just annoying as hell. It's just going on for so damn long. And being from another country, I know how it can be in different parts of Europe. They just, you know, they have a time limit if you want. It's not as out of control as it is here, where it goes for a year and a half or something.
Right.
Not. Over there, it's like a few months, a few weeks actually only, and then it's over. Thank you very much.
Good night. Okay, so what is the most bizarre thing a fan has done to get your attention?
I'm not very good at these most bizarre and craziest ever kind of things, because I always tend to forget these things quite easily. I mean, people have done crazy things and brought weird things, like having to sign babies and having signed guitars, of course, that's kind of normal. And what do they do? Some people give you crazy gifts, or, oh, well, here's a crazy one. Some guy's got my name, Wolf Hoffman, about tattooed all over his body, like, let's say, about 2 feet wide or something. To me, that's pretty damn crazy.
Yeah, that's definitely dedication.
I mean, it shows you. I really appreciate it, and I think that's dedication. That's a good fan right there, but it's pretty out there too.
Yeah, indeed, that is. And by the way, I share your sentiments on the election cycle. Okay, so do you have any fears, irrational or weird, or?
In general, no, I don't think I do. I wouldn't say I'm completely fearless. I have, for instance, fear of height. I don't do heights very well. But as far as sort of general, like, I don't know, fear of dying or fear in life, any of that, nah, not really. I go through life quite fearless, I would say.
So you got no fear of death and no mortality problem. What do you think happens?
Don't you know metal musicians and rock stars live forever? You should know that.
Yes, they're immortal. Well, see, I'm usually the oldest guy at the shows. It's me and the band are the oldest people at the shows I go to.
Depends on the band, I guess. But
yeah.
This day and age, that's a lot of times true.
Yes, it is. Yes, and then there's a bunch of kids in between. It's so strange, but and there's depending on the band, there might be some older people in the audience. But seriously, do you have a theory or a thought of what happens after you do die, even though you live forever?
No, man.
No?
I don't believe. I'm not a religious person. I don't believe any of that stuff. I usually don't like to talk about it, but since you asked me, I don't believe nothing happens after when you're done. And when you're gone, you're gone.
Okay.
Maybe your spirit lingers on in the universe somewhere, but I don't believe any of that heaven and hell stuff. None of that.
Right, right. I understand what you're saying there. All right. Do you do a lot of reading?
I do not. No, my wife does. We've got hundreds of thousands of books, but so I live in a house full of books, but I rarely ever do read. And one of the reasons is I always fall asleep quite easily. You know, I literally picking up a book, and unless it's something that really I find fascinating, then I stick with it and I read front to back in like a day, no problem. But most of these books, I just sort of can't stay with it for very long until I fall asleep. Not a good reader, per se.
I would have thought you would have been a scholar based on your symphony, but so that's something new that the fans learned today.
I'm not a bookworm, no, not at all. I'm sort of more of a doer than a thinker.
Right, and that kind of goes back to the woodworking and stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm always tinkering with something. Right now, I'm getting ready for this tour, so I have to set up all the racks full of gear, and you know, there's stuff always to do, especially when you're a guitar player. You know, you find yourself always fiddling with your gear and computers and something along those lines. Seems
Sure.
like that's a guitar player thing more than, say, a bass player or drummer thing.
Yeah, no kidding.
They never do anything. They never touch gear at all.
Yeah, actually the heavy metal Bible 10 Commandments says I think this first one is thou drummer shalt never touch the equipment. Okay. If you could not be a musician, what would you do?
Photographer, that's kind of easy, and I was. And I like that. I tell you, I really enjoy being a photographer. But at the end of the day, music is still on a whole nother level as far as like what it means to me and such. You know, I like taking pictures and I like having my pictures published and this and that, and I did really well with it. It's just at a certain point, it doesn't have the same meaning and the same staying power as music.
Sure.
I really like the fact that people are listening to tracks for years and years to come. Well, hell, some of the stuff we're still playing today, we wrote back then when we were kids, 35 years ago, and I would have never thought that is even possible, but it is possible, and that's what you realize over the years, that it really means a lot for a long time to a lot of people. And that's just not the same in the photography that I did. You know, it's more of a commodity.
Right. All right. So I'm showing 2:19 on my clock. Did I have till 2:20? 3:20?
Yeah.
So
right. Exactly when I got to cut you off.
Can I ask you one last question?
Yeah.
Will there be a tour soon?
Oh, there will be. Easy answer. Yes, sir. Right now we're getting ready to do a European tour, but as soon as the new album's out, which will be hopefully released, the next studio album, is going to be scheduled for mid next year, so July, August. And after that, we'll start our own world tour to support this album. And I'm pretty certain we'll end up being in the U.S. finally. It's been a while, but we definitely want to come over here again.
Oh, yes, please. Okay, well, I'll let...
asking for it, you know. And I know there's a demand, and we definitely need to do this as soon as we can.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you go to make it for your other interview. I've enjoyed talking to you. Appreciate your congeniality, and you're one of my heroes.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you like that new Rest of the Life album.
Yes. Captures the energy.
Thank you very much, my friend. Nice talking with you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, take care.